Hey everybody, Mr. Jeff here. This is make and take section of our program. And last week we made our barbell so I can do all my barbell exercises, squats, curls, whatever I want to do. 15.5 pounds using orange juice containers and a shovel handle that was broken. Filled it full of wet concrete, $2.59 for a 60-pound bag. Today we finished off our dumbbells. I put them in my little contraption basket here to hold them up straight so the concrete down here can dry in the water bottles. I did these two yesterday and then these two today. So I will have dumbbells ready to go after tomorrow. And the next one I want to show you right now, it's kind of my own little creation here. I took an ice cream pail. I started off the process already. I put some wet concrete in there. Actually, I mixed it in another tub, and then so I could get all of it in the corners of the ice cream pail. I'm going to put on some gloves because it's pretty messy. So I got a spoon, one of those big spoons from the cafeteria that were broken. The cooks gave it to me. I bent it into kind of a ball so it stood nice and straight. I put it in my ice cream bucket. Notice there's a hole in the spoon, and that's really important. You can use like a crescent wrench upside down, an old one, that's not working anymore because it's got a hole. It's a big metal, a metal hole at the end. So what's going to happen is I got a half full of wet concrete right now. The beauty about the wet concrete is that when you pour the powder in, you mix it up. Just keep mixing it up until if you get too much water in, there's no mistakes making. You can just kind of, the water rises to the top, you just kind of pour the water out. Just make sure that it's well mixed so it gets in all corners and areas of your ice cream pail, just like I did on my dumbbells and my barbell back here. Now, what's going to happen with the next thing is that I'm going to fill that more full of concrete in a second, and then I thought, well, what kind of rope am I going to use for here to attach it? Well, I got these old broken down jump ropes, and I end up, I was going to throw them out, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to use the ropes because inside of the ropes, inside of these beads, it's a really nice, strong nylon cord. So what I did is I cut it, and I'm just going to pull it off. And the great thing about these beads is you can throw these beads in the wet concrete. It's just kind of filler. It takes up space. I've already done it to some of them, so I'm just going to get a nice rope here, and then that's going to be attached to my ice cream pail weight with a spoon, not until the next time, because I don't want to pull the spoon right out of the wet concrete. And then I have this little bar here, so I'll attach the one end to the spoon. I will attach the other end to the bar, and then I got a nice wrist roll. I'll roll it all the way up, and the weight will come up. I can hold my arms out. I can roll it down. Really good exercise for your wrists, triceps, biceps, upright rowing exercises for my chest. The sky's the limit. I can maybe figure out something to wrap around my leg and lift and make two of them. So we're going to finish off right now with getting the concrete in there, and then we'll work on attaching the stick. So I put gloves on because this is really messy, and so I'm just going to add more of this dried concrete mix. Again, 60 pounds of this powdery stuff for $2.59. I'm sure you can get it cheaper other places, maybe a little more expensive than others. It has a bunch of little pebbles in it. The key is to get it mixed well. So one little tip I'll tell you is probably take like a 5-gallon pail and mix your wet ingredient, your concrete, your wet ingredients in there first, and then pour it in there. You can't do that with the bottles because the hole's too small. I made that funnel to kind of pour it in with that, just out of paper, cheap. Now I have water. I'm just going to pour my water in here. Again, like there's no right or wrong. If you put too much in, it just comes to the top. You can pour it out. Now, I've already stirred this before on the bottom level. That's why I'm making a second one. I'm just going in little segments because I want it to mix real thoroughly, and I want the water to seep down towards the bottom to fill in any cracks, or any gaps, so the concrete is nice and wet. And remember, if it's too wet on top, the water will rise to the top as it dries. So what's going to happen is then the water will just evaporate. So it doesn't really matter. It just takes longer to dry. You won't be able to use it right away. But I'm trying to get all that dry ingredient, so I want to reach down in with my stick, and I can use the same stick that I'm going to be attaching the rope to. So that's kind of cool. So, I don't have to get any fancy tools or anything, but it's just really important that you get this wet mixture mixed well so it holds that spoon down to your ice cream container. I'm even going to take my lid and put it on, I'm going to poke a hole and put it on top and then seal it with a ring of tape right around it just to hold it in place better. So that's nice and mixed. The only thing is, like, when you're done with your stick, make sure you just wipe it off because you are going to be using it, otherwise the concrete will stick to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more dry mix because I want it to pretty much come all the way up to the surface. And notice I'm doing it in stages though because I don't want the water to go all over the place. This is messy, so you're going to need your parents to help you, obviously, to buy the concrete. You don't want to do it. Notice I have plastic all over everywhere. And I clean up immediately right away all the wet stuff because it will, concrete sets and it's kind of unforgiving at that point. It's going to set. And I want to make sure my spoon is nice and centered. And again, I'm using the same juice containers to pour water in there. And then as I keep using all my stuff that I have, and I'm making good use out of things. I'm kind of recycling them so I don't have to go to the store and buy these expensive weights that they sell. And these you can use at home. It's like your own home gym. I'm making these. I'm going to make as many as I can out of this 60-pound bag of Saccrete dry concrete mix, and then I'm going to have them in school. And so my goal is to be that we're going to have these set up as stations for when we do our fitness stations in the gym. And of course, I'll have mats underneath them because you don't want to drop these big, heavy concrete blocks on your toes, or on anybody else. And then you don't want to drop them on the nice hardwood floors because it will put a dent in it. I'm not sure how much this weighs. Like I said, I know my barbells. I weighed it at 15.5 pounds. I'm just trying to get this spoon right in the middle. And I have not been able to weigh my dumbbells yet because they're still wet. So I'll wait till they dry. And I'm just gonna, I'm trying to experiment. I'm just gonna finish it off with a powder on top. So you get a nice finish, a smooth finish. What's really cool is that you could actually put your initials in there too if you wanted to, made by Jeff, whatever. So I'm just gonna kind of get this to the top because the water's gonna absorb. And then what's gonna be cool is that, how I told you the water rises to the top? Well, if I put a layer of dry mix on top, the water will eventually come up, and then this dry mix on top is going to absorb it, and then I will be able to, whatever's dry at the end, I'll be able just to brush it off, dust it off, and there you have it. So the next thing I'm going to do is, now I would recommend if you had a bigger stick, this was just a broken off broom handle we found here, I would say the best thing to do would be to drill a hole through here, but again, not you guys, parents, because you're gonna have to probably put it in some sort of vise to drill it, otherwise you're gonna end up drilling your hand or something. But this is maybe a little too thin, and then I can feed my string through that hole and then tie a knot on the other side. That will help roll it up. If I just tie in a knot, it's gonna spin. The other thing you can do, a quick one, is take a roll of tape and tape around there, and then tie the knot here, tape around your handle, and we'll just try that. And the cool thing about this is I could go ahead and leave extra string on here right now in case I want to be standing on something to do it. Like I got my box over here to stand on, so I can just go ahead and roll it up here right now. I'd put it on the floor, stand up. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape on that right now just to give you an idea. And like I said, I have my gloves on, so I'm going to take those off. I can't get the tape off. But so I'm just going to go ahead right at the start up here, and I'm just going to roll this piece of tape around both sides to begin with, just to start it, just to show you. And then, so I have it right here. And then of course, this knot down here is going to be fed through here. And then I'm just going to tie a little slip knot. So I go around, pull it through so that it slips right onto the spoon and tightens up. And then I just tie a little safety knot right in the end. And then I could even, if I wanted to, go ahead and put a piece of tape on there. So here you have it, my wrist roll. Wind it all the way up. And then wind it all the way down. Hey, I tell you what, my wrists have become so strong. At home, I can open any jar in the refrigerator. Hey, this is on tight. I can't get it off. Pop it right off just like that because of a weight like this. All right, boys and girls, there you have it. Make and take wrist roll weights. See you next time.